Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. It is Tuesday night. I was wondering what I was going to work on tonight and I kind of went back and forth. I just wanted to do like a simple drawing tonight, something cute. And I don't think I've ever done a ferret, so I kind of settled on that. It was between either like a little hedgehog or like a ferret, something in the like rodent kind of genre. Yeah, and I might do some of those at some other point. But tonight I settled on ferret just because I like ferrets. Yeah, sometimes I get requests from like nieces for ferrets, and I just haven't gotten to them. So I'm gonna kind of pick up the slack tonight and draw a ferret, and hopefully it's gonna be super cool. My brother used to have a ferret. Actually, he had a couple of ferrets. I don't know whatever happened to them, but I always thought they were adorable creatures. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. Let's see, I already got my paper here. I kind of figured out where I want the head to be and the body and stuff. So that part's already laid out. I'm just going to jump right into it. And, like, if you guys want to hang out and chat, that's what we do here. We just hang out and we have a good time. We got, let's see, we got Rome Dog in the house. We got Because I Can. We got Kid. That's enough for a party. There was some question about whether or not Larry was going to show up. I haven't seen Larry in a while. I am not worried, but I am kind of wondering what he got up to. So, like Larry, if you have a chance, be sure to chime in at some point so that we know where you're at. Hopefully, he's out just having a vacation or something like that. But you know, we always like to keep in touch with our regulars around here. Speaking of which, Hater, if you have a chance, chime in. Like it's okay if you guys don't watch, but I am kind of concerned when you guys don't show up for a bit. Last time I heard from Larry was 13 days ago, so it's been a minute. But we're not going to worry. We're just going to draw a cute little ferret here. So the way I'm approaching this is kind of like I do with some of my other charcoal drawings. I kind of just want to get like a little layer in here just to kind of figure out where the ferret's going to be on the page, and then we'll come back and start worrying about some details. But I like using these blending stumps just to kind of throw down some soft charcoal, just really soft, just to kind of give us a little bit of an idea of where things are. Geppetto's still supposed to be on his head. Larry shows. Yeah, I could do that. Hold on. We have a request for Geppetto to stand on his head, so I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can do that without messing up the stream. Let's see. Yeah, see, he balances. Here, let me turn him around a little bit. He balances on his head. Not very well. He'll probably fall over at some point. There you go. He looks weird on camera when he's standing on his head. Anyway, yeah, I'll shoot Larry an email after this. I kind of thought I would last week, but he was only gone for a week, so I wasn't too concerned. I was gone for the previous week, and maybe he's got extenuating circumstances like I did. People do take vacation this time of year, so especially with Labor Day being the case. Like Labor Day was just Monday, I think. So it's vacation time. That's what I assume he's up to. I think Larry's retired. If I was retired, I'd be going on trips all the time. I think that's everybody's like retirement plans to go on trips and stuff. That's definitely mine. I don't know, like where all I would travel to. Maybe when I actually am retired, I'll be done traveling. I'll be like, nah, I'm good. Just let me sit here and watch TV. I don't think that's how I'd be. Like I can't picture myself not doing anything. I'm the type of person who's always doing something. Of course, I get tired, same as anybody else. I want to take a nap and stuff, but like I don't know, I just can't bring myself to do it. I'm always. It's probably the amount of coffee I drink, to be honest. I drink a lot of caffeine, so it's hard to just sit back and relax when you drink as much caffeine as I do. I don't know how many milligrams of caffeine, but it's. Probably the equivalent of like 4 shots of espresso every morning. Quite a bit. Then I usually drink coffee throughout the day, just kind of like sipping here and there. If you think I drink a lot of alcohol, you should see my coffee intake. It's a lot. I love coffee though. That's why I draw with coffee. I love coffee. Yeah, the weather has been great lately. I don't know about where it's like in your guys' neck of the woods, but man, the weather around here it has gotten so nice. Um, like it is, it definitely feels like fall is right around the corner. I don't think it's technically fall yet. I don't know how that works. Maybe it is. Um, but yeah, it definitely feels like fall is around the corner. I am looking forward to it. I'm gonna miss the summer, but oh, yard work that sucks. Um, I'm gonna miss the summer, but I'm also looking forward to the fall. All those pumpkin spice whatevers and just relaxing. A little bit of chill in the air. I like that. I love Halloween. Halloween's coming up. Got a couple of projects planned for Halloween. One might involve sculpture. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off yet. Maybe it's a bad idea, but I saw on Reddit where somebody had a sculpture of a lady's arm just reaching out of a lake, and I'm like, oh man, I am so into like found art. I kind of want to build like a sculpture of an arm and put it out in the water somewhere. Just have it kind of reaching out. I know that that's going to freak some people out, but I am willing to. I'm willing to do that for Halloween. So that's on my mischievous list for Halloween. And then, I'll probably just do some like traditional art as well. I don't know what I would build that out of. Like I want it to look like super realistic. I might, I don't know, get a friend of mine to like let me take a cast of their arm, but it would have to be like waterproof material, and I don't know what to make. But I know it's gonna be controversial because somebody's gonna see that and think it's a real person or something when it's just meant to scare people for Halloween. But I don't know. Hopefully, I don't give anybody like a heart attack or anything. But you know, for art, it's worth it. I'm just kidding. But I think that'll be cool. Let's see. What are you guys saying in here? We had someone did kid. You did our yard work. That sucks. We should do another fan art expo for Halloween. Yes, I'm up for that anytime. Like if anybody has some art that they want to get started with that, like we don't even have to do like everybody. I know that people's schedules are um, it's hard to pin people down, but like even if like just one person wanted to show off their art, there's no reason why I have to make like a full episode out of it. I mean, if you've got art for me to show off, I mean, I'm happy to show it off. That could be like a segment at the end of every show. I actually like that idea. So here, I'll just put this out there. All right, anybody who is an artist who watches this show and has some sort of art that they want to show off or something that they want me to highlight for them, my email is on the channel page. Just go there, grab that, shoot me an email. Include like a picture or something. It could be art related. It could be like I don't know, like you got a new pet you want to show off. Whatever you guys want to highlight. I love that idea. I really do. On this show, we've done some viewer art in the past and stuff, and that went really well. I thought that was really cool. So like, we can do that like on an individual basis as well. So like, if you guys want to show something off, you let me know. And as long as it's tasteful, like I don't want to be showing off any not safe for work art, or I don't even want to see your not safe for work art. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure you guys are amazing not safe for work artists, but that's not my thing. I don't need to see it. So you can keep that to yourself. But anything else, if you guys want to send it to me, I will be happy to highlight it here on this channel with great appreciation for you guys watching. Because like, I really do appreciate you guys watching this channel. I know that I'm not entitled to it. I appreciate it deeply. So if you guys are going to take the time to watch my channel, I am happy to show off whatever you guys send me. So we'll do that. It'll be fun. It'll be awesome. I know because Ken's a great artist. He likes to create art basically of a Halloween nature. So like this is his time to shine. So that'd be kind of cool. But anybody else, yeah, and like I said, if you just want to show off pictures of your dog or something, that's cool too. Whatever you want to send. And like if you send something that's actually really kind of cool that I may want to draw, then let me know if I can draw it because that'd be cool as well. That's a little bit darker than that. So we're getting kind of a weasel face in here so far, which is cool. Again, all the details and stuff come later. I think I am going to go ahead and do the eyeballs real quick, just because now's a good time to do those. But got a good one of Larry. Yeah, I am going to send him an email after this. I'm sure he's fine. He's just probably busy, but I do want to kind of just check in, do a little welfare check on him. We love Larry on this show. He's one of the he's one of the regulars. Like been here probably since the beginning, close to it at least. He's always got some good comments for us. It's all about the community. I realize some of you guys come in to watch me draw, but also you guys come in and to hang out and chat with each other as well. So that's kind of cool. I love that aspect of this. It's one of those unexpected things. I've talked about it before. I was not expecting for there to be regulars who popped out. I really didn't expect to do a lot of live streams in the beginning. In the beginning, I was just going to do some drawings. I wasn't actually sure because, I've mentioned before, I am kind of an introvert. I wasn't sure if I would be okay doing live streams. The first one, I was like, I'm just going to suffer through it. But it's okay. You guys don't beat me up too much. You guys are used to me stumbling over my words and stuff. I mean, I do drink, so it's normal. But you guys don't seem to have a problem with me just being weird on camera, so I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, it wasn't my intent to do live streams so much. I was just gonna do like little doodles here and there. The idea was to like just practice drawing. I didn't expect to like practice drawing in front of people like all the time. But I like how it's turned out. We've got pretty good little community going. People who know each other. I like it. It's definitely a lot of fun from that aspect. And Larry's a big piece of that. So Larry, if you're out there, check in so that we don't have to worry about you. Just wait until we get our chat hands on him for making us worry for sure, right? Rum Dog says, you're a great host. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I still want to do like a co-host thing sometime. I still got to figure that out. Somebody remind me like in a comment sometime and like during the week or whatever. And I'll spend some time looking into that. I think I could do like StreamYard maybe, where I can do like a split panel. I don't have like a subscription to like Zoom or any of that. So it'd have to either be free or on the cheap side. But I'm sure there's a way where we can like do kind of like a co-host thing where, maybe we're doing like a dual drawing thing or something. That'd be kind of cool. Like for those out there who want to give it a shot drawing on air and you don't want to like take time to set up your own channel or whatever. Maybe we can get your feet wet by doing like a little co-drawing session or something. We'll pick something like I don't know, like a ferret or something, and we'll both draw it. I think that'd be fun. Hey, yo, we got okay, Larry in here. See, I told you he was alive. You guys thought he got eaten by an alligator. I probably shouldn't speak yet. Maybe maybe he's typing with his toes because his hands got bit off by an alligator. that would be awkward. But hey, I'm glad to see Larry's in here. Cool. Back from the dead. I love it. You guys saw it here first, all right? This channel has the ability to resurrect people from the dead. I love it. You ain't gonna find that on other people's channels. Anyway, glad to see you, Larry. A lot of us were concerned about you. Ain't seen you in a minute. But welcome back. He's probably been watching all of these and stuff, just laughing at you guys. There's like a long history in fiction. I'm thinking even back to like Mark Twain, where Huckleberry Finn, and I think Tom Sawyer too, got to watch their own funeral where everybody thought they were dead and they're just watching. I bet you that's Larry. Larry was watching all of these episodes, just getting a kick out of you guys worrying about him. But I'm glad he's okay. Those dang mosquitoes almost had me. See, we knew it was something. Yeah. So I just remembered. Yeah, you live in Florida. Those guys aren't a joke. The only time, so I have lived in Central Florida for a minute, and the only time I've ever seen worse mosquitoes is out in the Rocky Mountains. To be honest, the mosquitoes in Florida are ridiculous, and they're ever present because it's so much humidity down there that even when it's not raining, the air is still so full of like wet air. And I only say the Rocky Mountains because surprisingly, once you get up into the mountains, um, if you walk into the shade at any moment and up in those mountains, and I'm talking about like 10,000 feet, like pretty high up and stuff, those mosquitoes just like swarm on you. And I was wearing like a pretty thick hoodie, and they bit me up through that hoodie. I don't know how they got through it, but the uh, the mosquitoes out there in the Rocky Mountains, they're crazy. And that, don't take my word for it. That's everybody I've ever talked to who's been I'm thinking like New Mexico. I'm sure it's the same in like other states and stuff, but up there in the mountains of New Mexico, you got to bring something to keep those mosquitoes off you. Larry says, "I missed the streams. Hope you guys have been well. Yeah, we've been well, or I've been well. Just been missing you. That's all. People were concerned mostly. You're allowed to take a break. I mean, you're allowed to go and on vacation and stuff. Just make sure you leave a note. Make sure you leave a note with kids, especially. Yeah. See, the fam's all back together. I like it. Let's see. Let me grab a paper towel here so I can smooth off this. Got a little bit too much charcoal in this to do the next part. I want to get underneath this chin, but I want it to be kind of soft. So I need to take some of that charcoal off. So for those of you who do want to like learn how to draw and stuff, this is a pretty straightforward technique. I've been using it a lot lately, um, and I think it makes for really cool, interesting art. But I start off with like a blending stump, and I kind of use it as a pencil, like a fat pencil, um, just to get some tone down, and then I kind of use that tone as a base or like I don't know, it's almost like sculpturing. I use it as kind of like the clay in which I add more details. But I start with this like really soft um, kind of mold made from the blending stump, and I think it works really well. I like this technique. I've done a number of pictures in this, and they always come out looking interesting. Maybe not perfect, but interesting. It's not like any of these are like photorealistic or anything like that. But I think it's a cool, interesting style. So there's a couple of steps they come after this, but this is a good start, especially like when doing fur because you can see it kind of gets these like this layer of fur in pretty quick. It's not going to put in like any kind of darks or I mean, if you leave the highlights in, it'll leave the highlights, but it's not going to add any like dark areas. That's like an extra layer that you have to put in. I call that like the detail layer, I guess. I don't really call it the detail layer. I just call it the dark layer. Um, but that all comes afterwards. Get this little fuzzy guy's face in here. Right now, he could be like anything. He could be like a rat or cat or basically anything. But we'll get him looking like a ferret here before too long. Yep, no breaks unless approved. Yep, gotta let Mama Kid there approve all absences. It's not just you, Larry. I've got to do that too. Like if I went missing for a little while, she'll be like, "Where's Jeremy at?" We're supposed to be doing a live stream, Jeremy. Where you at? But that's good. It's nice that um, actually that week that I was absent, I had so many people check in. It was like it was. I don't know. It it's kind of a little overwhelming how nice you guys are. When I was gone for that week, Huli checked in on me. She was worried. I put that note up on the community page, but I don't think everybody saw it. Where I said I'd be gone for a week, but yeah, people were just wondering where I was, and it's kind of cool. Like I do know that like if anybody ever did like murder me or something, left me out in the desert, you guys would probably know. So that's good. What the heck is Geppetto doing? That's a great question. Kid said that Geppetto should be doing a handstand when you come into the room, so that's what Geppetto's doing. He's doing a handstand. I know it looks weird. He's doing a handstand for you, man. All right, let me put him back. Fix his arms there. Yeah, he's just doing a handstand. He looks kind of weird doing that. There you go. I like playing with my dolls while on air. It's fun. They're not dolls, they're action figures. Girls play with dolls, guys play with action figures. All right, so the ear kind of comes around here. Now, the ear's white, so I can't really draw the ear, but what I can do is kind of like put in some shadow behind it so that you get the idea that it's an ear. And this is really what kind of like lets you know that it's a ferret. Ferrets have these like round ears. So if it was like a mouse or some other kind of rodent, it would have different ears. So just a little hint of the ears. I don't want to go too crazy with it. I'll come back and maybe define those a little bit more. Now over here on this ear's got some fur coming off of it, so I can get a little bit. Yeah, Geppetto's been on his head for a while now, so all that blood rushed to his head, or wood chips rushed to his head. So what's a cheap material that I can put in water that won't like disintegrate and will look realistic, I guess? Because I really love that idea of making just like a woman's arm coming out of the water for Halloween to freak people out. Because there's a couple of like ponds nearby that I would just kind of drop that in. I really want to be one of those like Banksy kind of artists that does these things kind of like, I don't know, like these public works kind of like in the dark and on the sly and stuff. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. So this is one of those things that I would kind of sneak into like a little pond area or something. Probably not near like a school or anywhere where it'll really like cause concern. Like I want people to realize that it is um, like a fake arm pretty quickly, but not too quickly. I want people to be shocked, but then like, oh, okay, that's not a real arm. Jeremy plays with dolls, talks to himself, and drinks paint water. All of that is true, except they're not dolls; they're action figures. Geppetto is an action figure. He's got these like chop chop hands. He's a GI Joe essentially. I love GI Joe. I used to play with GI Joes all the time. All right, so I did play with dolls, I guess. Like the little GI, I forget how big they were, the several inches, not the full size GI Joes. Like they had the full size GI Joes way back in the day. Those are dolls. I'm sorry for any guy that used to play with those, but those are actual dolls. The little guys are action figures. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I think I'm going to kind of quickly work through his body just to get some areas in so that I know where things are. Um, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because I think I'm going to go over this stuff pretty quickly with some wet charcoal. But I did kind of want to get the shading in here just so that I know, Because like this area here is like all in shadow on this little guy. He's adorable already. I love adorable creatures. Like if all I ever draw is adorable things, I'm pretty happy with that. All right. So oh, and I'm using this like stick of charcoal here, and just kind of you know just kind of going through this quickly. Now there are some areas in here that's going to be like a little bit darker than others, so I'm going to kind of concentrate on that a little bit, just so that I know what areas to kind of reinforce later. Geppetto is not a transformer. That makes him a wooden doll. Yeah, I used to love playing with Transformers. Transformers were cool back in the day, like when they first came out. When they first came out, so they're like plastic crap now. I don't even know what they make them out of, but they're like flimsy or whatever. Back when they first came out, the way I recall it, I don't know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Transformers being like made out of die-cast metal, just like Hot Wheels were. So when you got a Transformer that was like a car, for example, like a Lamborghini, it looked like a real Lamborghini, and it was the die-cast metal, like what you got Matchbox cars in. So it had the feel of an actual car. And then, when they transform, they actually transform into believable robots. Like it's not that was like I don't know. I don't play with toys anymore. I don't, but from what I've seen at least, it doesn't look like the new Transformers are either believable robots or believable vehicles. Like there's always something lacking when they transform. I know that most of you guys don't know like play with Transformers or anything, like so you weren't expecting a sermon on Transformers, but I have some opinions about Transformers for sure. The ones back in the day were far better. Um, I think I had one called Sunstreak, maybe. It was a yellow Lamborghini. It looked like a real Lamborghini. It was very cool. It was one of the first gifts that I got as a toy when that I can recall at least that I thought was like actually really cool. They have some self-transforming transformers now. That's cool. Yeah, and I'm sure they're not as lame as I think they are. I don't know. I'm just kind of like due to a certain age being crabby about things. Um, Actually, I don't even know where you buy toys anymore. Like since Toys R Us died, I don't. Where do kids go for toys? I guess all online or something. But how do you like play with something and see if you like it first? I don't know. Like Walmart doesn't really have very many toys. I don't know where kids go for toys nowadays. But anyway, um, it used to be so much fun to walk into like Toys R Us. That was an experience kids really enjoy. I don't know, like maybe not all kids, but for me, walking into that Toys R Us where it's just aisles and aisles of like toys everywhere, all the way up to like as a little Jeremy is like it just seemed like mountains of toys. They had everything back in the day. I used to like GI Joes. I used to like Transformers. Um, but also they had this like area. I remember this distinctly. They had an area they had like model railroads and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. I used to spend a lot of time in there. Now you can go to a hobby store and still find all that stuff. But back in the day, they used to be at Toys R Us. They didn't really have a lot of hobby stores that like they do now that had all that cool stuff unless I don't know you were lucky and your town had like a large population or something like that. Most of the hobby stuff back in the day was like Radio Shack and stuff, and that's totally different hobby. Yeah, Toys R Us was an experience. It was great. The last time I went to Toys R Us, I went there right before they closed because I just wanted to say bye to it, and it's kind of funny. The Toys R Us where we were, like here in town, closed right after Rogue One, the Star Wars movie that had to deal with stealing the Death Star plans, came out. So like it closed right after Rogue One, and I remember because here's this store, and they've been having sales for like a month or something where you could come in and you could buy up all the stuff like super cheap. So people had already done that. I wasn't there to buy anything. I was just saying, wow, end of an era. But I was going through it, and it was kind of interesting to see all the stuff that people didn't buy, right? So I'm in the store. They've been running sales for like a month, just to get rid of all their inventory because they have nothing else they can do with it, and the entire store is just ransacked. It looked like a mob had been in there, or like it looked like Black Friday or something at Walmart. Just everything thrown everywhere. And the funny thing about it, and the reason why I will always remember that Toys R Us closed when Rogue One came out, is because they had a bunch of Jyn Ursa dolls, um, like a ton of them, like enough where they could like open another store and just sell Jyn Ursa dolls. And it's so funny because nobody wanted them. Like, I happen to love that movie. I happen to love Rogue One. And I love the character of Jyn Ursa. Like, I thought that she was a very interesting character that they brought into Star Wars, but nobody wanted the action figure. It just sat there on the shelf of like Toys R Us. Toys R Us is closing. Everything's dirt cheap. You can buy like and probably get the doll for like $1 or something, and nobody wanted it. They just had a million of them. So that's how I know that Toys R Us closed when Rogue One came out. Lincoln Logs. Oh, those are cool. Yeah, I love Lincoln Logs. I saw one of these in like an antique store recently, and it was an older model from like I think the '60s or something. But I remember having an erector set when I was a kid, and it's basically like it's kind of like a Lego like kit nowadays where you get like a set of Legos and they're supposed to make like a certain thing. But this was like where you got all the stuff to like all the electronics, all the like hardware and stuff to build like not really like a robot, but like a movable something or other. I don't know. They had a bunch of different kits, and I remember having one when I was younger. And I don't know whatever happened to that, to be honest. I feel like a lot of these things just kind of disappeared. I wish I kept them because I go to like toy expos and stuff sometimes. Usually they're like comic and toy expos because those are usually like put together a lot. And I look at all these different things that I used to have as a kid that I just kind of wish I kept, especially like Star Wars toys like the Millennium Falcon and things like that. I wish I kept all that. Like the AT-AT, I have an AT-AT, but it's missing pieces. I wish I kept all that stuff like in the box. Like my old GI Joes and stuff, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and stuff. Those guys are worth like a ton of money now, mint. And I used to blow them up with firecrackers. So I was, I was that guy on Toy Story that tortured all of his toys. The little jerk that probably ended up becoming like I don't know, just like a serial killer or something like that. But that little kid on Toy Story, that was me. I used to take my GI Joes and I would take like I would take like different parts of them and mix them up with other parts and then blow them up with firecrackers. I used to put them in the freezer in like a cup of water and call it like freezing them in carbonite like Han Solo. I don't know why I did these things. Anyway, so we're kind of let's see how we're doing on time. Yeah. Oh, we're only like 40 minutes into this. Good. So we're starting to get an idea of a ferret on this page, which is cool. Still looks a little rough, but that's okay. We're just kind of getting an idea of where the ferret exists on the page at this point. Um, so it's not meant to be all that perfect. Just getting some lines in here. It's all good. Having a great conversation. So happy that Larry's back because that would have been awkward. Larry, don't disappear again, my man. I don't want to have to give everybody bad news that you got eaten by an alligator or something like that. That's just not good. I mean, if you choose to get eaten by an alligator, like that's cool. That's your prerogative. But it would be nice if you gave somebody a little heads up, like, hey man, I just want to go out and get eaten by an alligator this weekend. That's cool. That's your prerogative. We just want to know about it so that we don't worry. I mean, one of these days, I'm probably going to get eaten by a grizzly bear. That's like my ultimate mission. I want to be somewhere where I can be eaten by a grizzly bear. I want to be doing something where I would be eaten by a grizzly bear. Basically, if you get eaten by a grizzly bear, you're probably having fun before that moment. Like you're probably living your best life. Yeah, I kind of feel that way for like any of that stuff. So like, I don't know, if I get bitten by a king cobra, for example, I don't live in India. I don't live anywhere near where there might be a cobra. I don't know, maybe somebody had one as a pet and it snuck out or something and it like ended up in the sewer drains. And for some reason I was in the sewer drain. But long story short, it's not likely that I would ever encounter a king cobra to the point where it's not behind glass, where I might get bitten by a king cobra. So, from that, I can reason that if I ever do get bit by a king cobra, I'm probably having an adventure, you know? And if I'm having an adventure, I'm having a good time. So, I don't really think being bitten by a king cobra is all that bad of a thing. It sounds bad, it sounds really bad. It probably actually is really bad. But if you think about it, getting eaten by a king cobra is proof that you lived the life of Indiana Jones. You're having a good time. You're out there looking for like the Ark of the Covenant or something like that. Um, Now, of course, if you lived in like, I don't know, like Delhi or something like that, that's probably a different story. They have king cobras all the time over there. Um, So that would not be good. But I mean, even for me to go travel to India or something like that, that sounds like an adventure in itself. So I would be happy to be bitten by a king cobra. Like some's got to do you in at some point, right? So like if you could choose, I would choose to like be bitten by some exotic snake or something versus like a water moccasin. Like we've got water moccasins all over the place out here, or like a snapping turtle or something like that. I wouldn't want to be bitten by a snapping turtle. That means I didn't leave my town. Um, but yeah, something like I don't know, not like a black widow. I think we have black widows around here, but like a scorpion, that would be awesome. I would love to be bitten by a scorpion, especially one of those scorpions that don't kill you. It just kind of leaves like a, I don't know, that like kind of melts your skin and leaves like a little crater or something that you can show off to all your buddies at the bar and be like, look, I got bit by a scorpion. Anyway, this little guy is looking so stinking cute. I want to scoop. Awesome. That's it. That's the goal. This guy's supposed to look really cute. Every now and then I do a picture just for the cuteness. Um, one of these days I'll probably do something a little more um, like not cute. I don't know, like something a little bolder maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But right now I love just doing cute things sometimes. Like I said, I didn't really want to stress it tonight. I just wanted to do something fun and cute. And I think this is working out. Might have to draw a gator dreaming of some Larry Gator chow. Larry says, I've been stung by a scorpion. Ouch. Um, so clearly you lived through it, so that's good. I hope hopefully it didn't do any damage or like long-term damage. I know that those things they're just pretty rough. I mentioned that I lived in Cuba for 2 years. I remember when we lived down there, we had to check our shoes. Like every morning when we go to put on our shoes, we had to check the shoes for like tarantulas and scorpions and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm saying is like I want to live in a place like that again. I don't want to actually get bit by a scorpion, but I want to live in a place where it's at least possible. All right. So I think that guy's looking kind of cute. You kind of get a little bit of the arm extended a little bit. And this arm kind of comes down. Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty good. All right. And then the next step is I want to get some wet charcoal and start smoothing some of this because right now it looks kind of rough. I filled in a lot of area relatively quickly. We're only 45 minutes into this. Because I can't says that was a great movie. Is that the Scorpion movie, or are you behind on something? Um, Kid said Scorpions gross. I agree. Scorpions are gross. Any kind of like insect. I don't know. I'm having a tough time with the idea of insects. Like, I don't really hate insects, but also I don't like them. Like, I kind of over my fear of them. You know, everybody has a fear of insects like spiders and stuff. I think I'm over that. Like, if a spider were crawling on me, I don't think that would bother me. You know, when I go hiking, sometimes I pick up ticks and stuff. Just seeing them on me doesn't bother me. Um, so I don't think I have a fear of insects, but also it's like I don't have a love of insects either. Like, if I went into like the insect house at the zoo or something, there's nothing in there I really want to see. Versus, I don't know, like reptiles. I do like reptiles. So this part is using wet charcoal. Sorry, I need to remember to narrate. um, this part is using wet charcoal. Again, like this is a technique I've been trying quite a bit lately, trying to perfect and stuff. Just kind of stretching the limits to see what kind of drawings I can do in this style. I've been pretty impressed so far with what I've been able to pull off. So in this case, this step of the process is using like wet charcoal to kind of like quickly fill in some of these areas. So like down here in this chest area, I mean, this is a mostly brown um, creature. So a lot of that needs to get filled in. Now you can do that with your pencil, or you can do that with your blending brush or blending stump. But it's going to take a little while, and you're not going to get well with the pencil. You can get some pretty dark areas and stuff, but it's still going to take a while. So I like to treat this as almost like a watercolor um, with the charcoal, and I think it looks cool. It gives it kind of like not really watercolor because it's monotone, but it gives it a kind of ink look to it. In fact, I've seen some people do comic books in this style, or like using wet charcoal. And you always have to take another look at it, or even just ask the artist, like, "Hey, is that ink or is that something else?" And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, "Oh no, that's charcoal." And I'm like, "Wow, that looks just like ink." So this is almost like an inking stage. In fact, if you actually did work with ink, you can probably create a picture that looks very similar to like what this is going to end up looking like. So it's using charcoal, but kind of like as a substitute for ink. That's how I look at it, at least. I don't know. It's not. I mean, in no way is it like actual ink or anything like that. But I think that it's a good similarity. But just using the brush like this, I mean, you can make something look pretty realistic in terms of fur. Looks like fur. Sorry, I was just checking my watch real quick because I get text on my watch. So I don't usually get texts during my live streams. So when I do get a text, I'm like, oh well, maybe that's important. I don't get a lot of text anyway. I get like a lot of spam. That's what I get. Same with emails. I get work emails and then I get spam. Yeah. Had a scorpion in the house one time. We moved. You saw a scorpion, so you just up and moved now. Florida scorpions aren't too bad. That's cool. You guys have like a lot of lizards down there. That's what I remember. I remember everybody has a front porch, and if you go out on the front porch, the screen is just covered with lizards all over the place. Where we lived in central Florida, it was a town called Lakeland, and you know, just like the name suggests, there's lakes everywhere, and we were right across from a lake, so we got to look out and see alligators and just random wildlife, bunch of I don't know what, like I want to call them geese, but I don't know if they were like actual geese, birds of some type that flew down and would be down there, and of course they'd get eaten by the alligators sometimes. It's actually really cool. Um, the town itself, like I don't want to disparage it in case anybody from here ever does go to Lakeland or lives there or something like that. But it's seen better days. I feel like it's one of those towns that are in transition, you know, where maybe it's just older people and a lot of the younger people moved away, or maybe bad influences moving into the area or something like that. It just looks like, in recent years when I went down there, it just looks decayed, I guess. Like they're not keeping it up or something. But it has been a little while, so maybe they did done a turnaround. Like, if you're planning a trip to go to Lakeland or something, don't be discouraged just because I don't remember it being kept up. And maybe it has been. I don't know. I went to one of my childhood places just a week or two ago for a funeral, and it's changed a lot. There's barely anything I recognize. The downtown area and stuff that I remember was kind of like your quintessential 1980s town. I mean, it looked basically like any of the towns from uh, Back to the Future or Gremlins or something like that, just your small town America. Um, Now it's all kind of fancied up a little bit, and they have this is Newberry, South Carolina, by the way, and they have this beautiful opera house that they're remodeling. Like a lot of the town's buildings are being remodeled and everything. So it's not what I remember. It's just amazing how these small towns kind of go through these transitions. Like the downtown area in these small towns during the 80s and before used to be like where people did their business transactions. Like you would go down there to shop, you would go down there to eat, you would go down there to do all these different things. Now it just kind of seems like it's almost like every small town America, it's downtown area is more like a kind of a touristy area. It's where you go to visit boutique shops and go to the little fancy restaurant that is I I don't know how to describe it, but it's not where you would go to like Ace Hardware to buy your stuff. Like you would go find that at some bypass or something at like a Lowe's or whatever. But I don't know. Times change. It's just kind of interesting how they change. That's all. Boomdog says, "I'm afraid of stick bugs." You mean like yeah, yeah? Those are weird looking things. I'm afraid of like all right. So whatever those things are in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where Willie puts her hand through the thing to pull the lever to like save Indy in short round, and she comes back and there's that gigantic stick looking bug, whatever that is. Yeah, you can keep that. I don't like that. I don't like things like centipedes or millipedes. Those like creepy things. Those are. Are those really insects? Are those the larva stage of an insect? Holy crap! If those are like caterpillars, what do those turn into? Ugh. I don't think they're like caterpillars. I don't think they morph into anything. I think that's just their full grown adult state. I think, but if they do turn into something, um, yeah. So you can keep all that. Those are bad. I don't like those things. Um, I don't like I don't like when it comes to spiders, I don't like furry spiders, right? So like a tarantula, they're cute. I actually think they're cute. They're like dogs that are smaller with like 8 legs or something like that. Um, I don't mind tarantulas. I don't like the spiders that have the like almost like sticks for legs. Those guys. Those guys are creepy. I don't like those. Those are bad. Um, so like I don't know, like your Black Widow or something like that, where they have the little stick legs. That's just not a fan. But the furry spiders, I do like the furry spiders. Um, a scorpion. Scorpions are kind of cool. I wouldn't like to have one or have one around me or anything like that, but they're kind of cool to see when they're like in cages or something like that. I've always liked insects in general. I like the concept of insects. Um, Insects, when we're all gone, like when we probably destroy ourselves someday, like in a nuclear blast or something, insects are going to survive. Like, um, they talk about things like climate change. They talk about like what would happen if like all the countries let off their nuclear bombs, or just in general, if we just destroy the world. Well, there's one thing that's going to survive all of that, and that is the cockroach. The cockroach is the future of this world we live in. And maybe the cockroach might have some buddies that survive along with it, but they're all going to be insects. I think they've actually done studies where they try to recreate the harsh conditions of like other planets. So like they can in a lab create the conditions of what it's like to live on Jupiter, or one of these other like gigantic planets like Saturn or something like that. And human beings, we can't live there, but apparently cockroaches can. So cockroaches will survive anything. So they are going to be around long after we are gone. So it's cool, I guess. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you feel about insects. Anyway, this guy's looking adorable. Roaches are the worst. Roaches are the worst. And you know what I've been hating lately is flies. I hate flies because like my dogs always seem to want to go in and out, and they bring in flies with them, and I have to like track them down and get rid of them, and it's just a tiring task. So you guys can keep flies too. Flies, although they are kind of cute. Like I'm gonna backtrack a little bit on the fly thing. Flies look adorable like when they're magnified. Like I would love to draw a fly, and I might actually do that at some point. I bet you it turns out looking super cute. Flies are cute when you look at them up close. Bees are cute. Bees are always cute, like honeybees. I'm petrified of bees, but they are adorable. Petrified of bees, and I've been getting better at it. Like, um, it used to be I couldn't like whenever a bee would fly by or something, I would like freeze up and like almost paralyzed. Especially with like the big black ones. Those were always tough for me, but lately, yeah, I've been forcing myself to be like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna like, not not get scared and just kind of go through it and stuff. And yeah, they I've been doing all right with the bees lately. All right, so now that we got that in, I want to kind of come back and kind of add some detail. And by detail, I mean like some darker areas that kind of don't come through when you're doing the brush, or it doesn't come through when you're doing the blending stump. These are these are areas that you can kind of like reinforce the fact that these are actual um, like strands of fur and so on. So you can like actually do like lines and get some texture in there. And I try to I try to just deal with like the darkest areas with these. I don't want to go overboard. I like to rely on these other techniques to kind of like fill in most of the blanks. This is plus it usually takes longer to do this part, especially if like you really go hyper detailed. Um, so I like to put in kind of a base of everything first before I even take on this step. But it's like you can kind of see here where it's kind of it's got no definition to this line here and stuff where this kind of fur comes down close to the nose. So you can kind of reinforce that by putting in some little sketch marks and stuff kind of coming out, and you know basically give that a hairline. And yeah, so this is I would call step 3 of the process. And I've kind of, it has been going in steps. Like I've kind of mastered this to where it is predictably the same steps each time, which is cool because that means that, I can be consistent in the type of style that I do, and maybe even instruct other people on how to make their art look similar. It says adorable fly. Jerry has had way too much to drink tonight. They look adorable. That's all I'm saying. They are annoying as hell. I hate flies. I hate them with a passion. Um, you know, I used to try to like, I don't know. I always feel bad for insects because like even though they don't have a brain, they don't have like a central nervous system. I don't think they feel any type of pain or anything. Basically, I'm saying there's no real ethical objection to just swatting the crap out of them and smashing them. I still kind of feel bad for them, just in a right to live kind of way. So I used to try to catch a fly and put it outside, but when they come in force, and there's just so many of them, and those of you who have barns or like deal with horses or just basically any kind of animal, really, you know what I'm talking about. They just sometimes they just come out and there's just too many of them, and I feel like less uh, accommodating at that point. At that point, I'm like, oh, it's on. I just kind of like kids that I'm sure they do look adorable after 10 bourbons. They do look cute, like like they have they have these big eyes. Of course, they're like made up of multiple eyes and stuff, but they have these like little fur features to them. Talking about you got to zoom in really far though. The worst thing I ever had was the yellow jacket. Oh yeah, I'm not dealing with those. Those are terrible. They would serve no purpose whatsoever. Like, what is the purpose of a yellow jacket? Like a honeybee contributes. Like a honeybee is good for the environment. You should never kill or this like you should just let a honeybee be. Like whatever that honeybee wants to do, just let it do it. Because they're falling on hard times. Like they are endangered. They are something we really need just for our ecosystem, like our crops, our flowers, our just way of life, really. Honeybees are good for everything. There's no reason to harm those whatsoever. If you get stung by a honeybee, it's probably your fault. And, I know that it's probably against your nature, but you shouldn't go and just destroy all honeybees just because you got stung by one. Um, but that said, I don't know the purpose of other things like yellow jackets or wasps or um, things that like what purpose do these guys serve? They are not contributing to anything. They're not helping things out, is all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know the purpose of like a yellow jacket. Maybe they do something in the world. I don't know. Like an entomologist or something can come in and set me straight, but in my opinion, they're worthless. That said, you should probably like, not go on a destroying wasp or yellow jacket spree either. I'm sure they do serve actually some purpose, but so at this point, like this is optional. I like to use a little bit of a blending stump just to kind of get some additional tone in that I maybe not got in earlier, especially like in high detailed areas. So like here in the face, I feel like people are going to be looking at that. I want to smooth out some of these areas. I want the nose to kind of look like it's made of, I don't know, dough or plastic or something. Get that smoothed out really good. Now, if you wanted to, you could make this all like, sketched sort of in like a style where it looks like you were like really loose with it and stuff. But, you know, around the focused features, um, I like to take my time and kind of make those look a little bit more finished, I guess, or rendered. Yeah, that's the word I like to use a lot. Rendered. Make these look rendered. Um, oh, I almost reached for the put that away. Kid says, "Oh my god, I can't win this fly argument." The fly. All right, I agree that flies are not the most attractive insects. There you go. They're not the most attractive insects. I'm going to draw a fly though. I'm going to draw a fly and show you how cute they look. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but at some point I'm going to draw a fly. Let's see. I'm going to try to get some whiskers in here. See if I can get a little curve. This is always the tough part for me, drawing these like random lines, especially like when drawing animals that have whiskers. I struggle with the whiskers because like they kind of come out randomly. But you can't just like draw. I mean, you could, but like I can't draw. Here, I'll try it. Maybe I can do it for like one. But if I try to draw like a whisker, okay, maybe that's not bad. But they look, in my opinion, they look cooler when you just kind of wisp them, like I was doing a moment ago. I think that looks better. And then I like to add a little bit of thickness to the ones that are closest to, the fur and so on. Like a few little whisker lines there. And then, see, I need to bring this down. I think I need some more. Sorry. Yeah, honeybees should be protected, if not already protected. But yellow jackets are adorable after dinner. Yeah, look, yellow jackets do look cool. Probably after one bourbon. I don't think it takes 10 bourbons to make yellow jackets look cool. I wouldn't say they look cute, but they have like kind of like an exoskeleton that looks like armor, like almost like Iron Man. So I can make a very good case for these things looking cool. Adorable, I would say, would be something that looks cute and fuzzy, something like that. Um, I think that is the case for like flies and honeybees and so on. I would not say that yellow jackets look adorable. I would say yellow jackets look evil. But they have these exoskeletons that make it look like they're wearing armor, like like I said, like an Iron Man outfit. After 10 bourbons, I'd wear a yellow jacket. I'd wear a yellow jacket. Yellow is not my color, but I have worn yellow T-shirts, and I gotta say they're not that bad. Like you could be a student at Georgia Tech or something, and then you're required to wear those colors. I mean, not required, but as your school colors. I'd wear a yellow jacket. Hey, you know what? Wolverine and Wolverine and Deadpool. He looked pretty good in yellow. I thought that outfit might look a little dumb, but they did a good job on that. It looks comic book accurate and also looks really cool. Riding spiders look cool. Trying to think. Is that the ones with the little legs? Like I don't know, the evil looking ones? Yeah, have you guys ever seen Coraline, that movie? That's what I'm talking about with the evil looking spiders. They got the long creepy legs and I hate those. I don't know if those are riding spiders or not. I don't know what writing spiders are. The only one I can think is the animated one, like Charlotte from Charlotte's Web. That's probably what you're talking about, but it's animated, so I don't know what it looks like in real life. That said, writing spiders are cool. I kind of want to draw a spider now. I want to draw a spider just to mess with kid, because I will make that thing look adorable. Especially like a tarantula or something like that. Those can look adorable. Like you wouldn't want one crawling on you. That would freak you out. But as far as how they look, orb weaver. Huh. That sounds poisonous. I would like a genetically modified spider that's been like hit with a dose of radiation or something and is approximately the size of a dog that you can like walk around on a leash and stuff. That would be cool. I'd definitely go for that. So again, this part the stage of what I'm doing, I'm just coming back and kind of reinforcing some areas. So like all through here and stuff. This is pretty dark. This is an area that is kind of caught by shadows from the head. This is how you kind of give things like three dimensionality. You bring the face forward by pushing this back through shadow. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but that, sometimes we forget how to create depth in our pictures. Like a lot of times I see comments from like newer artists and stuff like that, kids or whatever, where they say, like, how can I make this look more three-dimensional? How can I make this look more realistic in terms of like lights and shadows and so on? I mean, honestly, you just got to spend the time and you've got to like make sure that you get those multiple layers of values in there. That's what this stuff is called. It's called values, like your dark values and your light values and your medium tones and so on. Um, you know, just spend some time on it. Like really press into that page when you get into like these areas here, and just be aware that like you need to have a lot of shadow in here to make this face push forward. You need to put a medium amount of shading through here to make it look like it's coming forward. Like if you look at my chin, there's like some shadow here that kind of pushes up, and then it's like really light right here. That's the same. I mean, my chin isn't a ferret's chin, but that's kind of the same concept of what's going on with this ferret. You know, you put the shadow down in here, and then you have to like really give it a hard line, right? So like this still feels kind of soft here in terms of like that definition. Um, Come back in here, you really put in that hard line, and that kind of lets you know where the chin stops and the neck. I mean, ferrets. This part isn't really like a neck, but you get what I'm saying. Where one part starts and the other part ends, and there's no real transition through here. It's just like a hard stop. So it's like dark and then light. There's more transition down through the other parts of the fur, where there's almost like gradient values, but and that's how you make something look three-dimensional. So by comparison, um, this part right here, lots of contrast, right? So you have the chin, and then that part there. This part, not a lot of definition, right? So like if you were just looking at this and didn't know any better, you would think that like there is really no indentation here, but of course there is. So I need to make that super dark. Same deal, you really darken in this area, and then you have like a neck that, or like a head that really pops out of the body. So I think I'm gonna go pretty dark here. I think I'll come back with like a gel pen and add some whiskers over this, which kind of is a little bit cheating because like this is mostly charcoal, but I don't know what else. What other way to do that? So I am kind of blending this just because it looks a little bit rough. So I just kind of want to smooth it out because, again, this is all shadow. So there's really no features through there. Bring that up. Yeah, see? Now his face is kind of sticking out. It's kind of a Professor Jeremy. Well, I try to be like a little bit instructional if I can. Um, and it's not like I read this in a book or anything anywhere. It's just what I've picked up from doing these things for a while. Like I look at my picture and I'm like, what did I do wrong here? Why isn't this working? And then I'm like, you know what? I bet you if I just add a little bit more shadow there, it'll look so much different. And then I add that, and then it does, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I have to remember that for next time. So that's all it is. It's just you do something a couple of times, and you realize, hey, this actually works. I'm gonna have to remember that. So putting some little indentations here. But yeah, Professor Jeremy. That's my comic book name. Professor J. Speaking of which, if any of y'all want Professor F's you know, prize for his Bitcoin in that crack book, you better get on it because I'm getting close to solving it. I really feel like I am. I've been putting a lot of time into it lately, and I think I'm getting close. I don't know how I'm going to like solve it, but feel like I've made progress. So if you want to solve that first, you better get on it. Fair warning, because I'm coming for it. Same deal here. Underneath the eye, there's like this really dark area here that kind of blends into down through here. And it really makes the eye kind of three-dimensional and pop a little bit more. I hate that word pop, but it does. It kind of pops out. I mean, the eye doesn't pop out of the skull, but some of my friends long ago had ferrets. Yeah, they do stink. I mentioned at the start of this that my younger brother used to have ferrets. He's had ferrets a couple of times in his life. He should get another ferret, to be honest. Like he was like the ferret dude. I don't know if he got the ferrets because of like Beastmaster. You guys remember that old movie? That guy had the little ferrets and stuff, or Kindergarten Cop. He had a ferret. I think he got a ferret from watching one of those movies, but he had a couple, and I remember he had some when he lived at my parents' house, and then one day they just ended up missing, and I think they ended up crawling into the walls, and that's where they were. So he had to get some new ferrets, but I think I think the ferrets like somehow got into my parents' walls, and yeah, and they just kind of got stuck there. I think that's what happened to them. But they are adorable. They really are. We're doing on time. We're doing okay. But they do cutesy things. They'll do like little tricks and stuff. They sleep a lot. Um, remember that. But they do fun things. They run around. I think you can potty train them, kind of like cats. Uh, I don't I don't know if they do like litter box deals or if they do sawdust or how that works. But I think you can have them be indoor animals easily. I mean, obviously, you want them to be indoor animals. You don't want these guys running around outside. You'll never see them again. Um, but I don't think they have to be like caged up 24/7, like maybe a hamster or something like that. These little guys can run around, but they're adorable. They really are, and I would love to have one. There's a lot of animals that I can't have because I have dogs and cats. Like the cat would totally eat this thing. I would love to have a bird, for example. I can't have a bird because I know that somehow that cat's going to get into it. I had fish once, and I come home from a trip, and the fish was on the living room floor, and the I thought the aquarium that I had him in was high enough up that the cat couldn't get to, and I don't have proof. Like I feel bad accusing my cat because I don't know, like I can't really prove that it was the cat, but I'm pretty sure it was the cat. And by the cat, I mean like a couple of cats back. This wasn't anytime recent, but um, I want to say like good 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I had a fish, and I think the cat murdered it while I was away. There, I said it. One of the great mysteries of the animal kingdom has been solved. The cat did it. But it was mysterious. It looked like the cat, or it looked like the fish had jumped out of the bowl and like committed suicide right there on the living room floor. That's what it looked like. But I wasn't buying it, and the cat looked suspicious. I'm 95% sure that that cat murdered that fish. 95% sure. Can't be 100% sure, but because I wasn't there. I don't know for sure because I wasn't there. The dog was also away, I think. So the dog is an unreliable witness. The dog would point to the cat anyway, just because that's what the dog does. All right. I think it's looking really good in the face. I like the shadow through here and stuff. It really defines the face. I feel like I need to get some more detail down here just so that it doesn't look so bad. But we're getting pretty close. Pretty close. So, um, you know, maybe a good 10, 20 minutes left. It's just going back over areas and just kind of like really adding more depth to it and adding more detail. And so the more detail you add on these upper layers, so like these darker lines and stuff, it actually creates more of that three-dimensional look because these appear to be higher than the other layers, right? So like if I put these whiskers in, these whiskers look like they're higher than the neck area. And if I put in some dark lines through here, like, all right, so this right here, this is all very kind of bland, right? So if I come in and I add some dark lines over that, it creates another three-dimensional layer that kind of pushes some of this stuff back, pushes some of this. It looks like it's back, but it's really like a highlight. So these are actually like the lower layers, but by putting them on top like this, it really does kind of force all of that stuff into the page. If the cat really murdered it, it probably would have been eaten. Cat probably just looked at it and spoke and talked it into jumping out of the bowl. I mean, that might be the case. You see movies sometimes where the villain just kind of talks somebody into harming themselves, and yeah, maybe that's what the cat did. Either way, the cat did something. I know the cat did. Cat did something. But yeah, that is a good point. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't buy necessarily that if the cat had done it, the cat would have eaten the fish because my cats are jerks. I mean, I'll just say it. They're assholes. So I can picture, a cat from my household just toying with it, like taking it, flopping it out onto the ground, and then just like leaving it there and watching it like flop around and stuff, and just being like, oh, okay, I'm not really hungry. I could see that being the case. Now, again, I buy you your argument as being more probable, but also I can see it being the other way as well. I can totally see my cat just torturing that fish just to torture it because my cat's an asshole. Again, there's some fluff behind this ear over here, so I can kind of just like you see hair in the water. Oh, that's a good point too. So this again, this was like 20 years ago, so I can't go back and check. But that's something I should have looked for. Should look for like physical evidence. I should have looked for like a cat-shaped paw print on that fish's face. Um, Jeremy, have you seen the Craven the Hunter trailer? No, I haven't actually. Is that out? I haven't seen that. There's a couple of things I haven't seen that I want to see. The Lord of the Rings season 2 is on Amazon. I want to see that, even though like some real diehard fans of Lord of the Rings have really kind of been hating on that show. I still want to see it, just because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Um, I want to see that. I haven't seen the Craven the Hunter trailer. I think I saw some. I think I saw some stills from the movie, and I do think I'm going to go and see it just because it kind of sounds cool. I don't know if Spider Man's going to be in it. Probably not, but the character of Craven the Hunter will still be kind of cool, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. This weekend, I think Beetlejuice comes out. I'm so looking forward to that. I will be the first person in the theater when Beetlejuice comes out, just because I think that's going to be a great movie. So I'm going to pre-recommend that to people, even though I haven't seen it. I just think that's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend. But yeah, when Craven the Hunter comes out, I'll definitely see that. Seeing Alien Romulus this weekend in the trailer plot I played. Oh, cool. Tom's gonna agree with me on the asshole bit for cats. Uh, I don't know if he's fully agreeing with me, but yeah, I really do think that that cat could have murdered that fish just to murder it, not necessarily for food. Just because he wanted to like play with it. So he probably he may not have even actually been doing harm or trying to do harm. He could have like reached in there just because it was moving, played with it a little bit, accidentally pulled it out of the bowl, and then just kind of left it there because the toy stopped moving. That sounds terrible, but that's probably what happened. I love my fish too. I really did. Um, like if you're ever looking for a low commitment pet, just to see if you've got the chops to take on like the responsibility of a pet. Like this is great for kids. Get a fish. Fish, you feed them, you take, and that's it. Like you clean their environment, but you have help with that. You have like pumps and stuff that move the water around, and as long as you've got like moving water, it's not going to get too bad. You can get other aquarium creatures to kind of like clean up, like snails and shrimp or whatever the deal. But yeah, fish are like kind of low responsibility um, creatures to take care of. I recommend that. A lot of people do like the hamster thing. I actually feel like hamsters require a lot of responsibility because it is very difficult to keep them alive. They kind of just seem to expire. Um, so yeah, I recommend fish. And fish are great. You just watch them swimming around. It's very like peaceful and relaxing to watch them do that. Um, you know, just little things like that are nice in life. Dogs are like dogs require a lot of attention. Cats require, as much as like cats are self-sustaining, like you can just kind of like leave them with some food and some litter and stuff and take off for a week and they'll be fine. Um, they're still kind of like animals that need your attention. Dogs definitely do. Fish, fish are just like, I don't know, like wall decor, really. Like you put them in like an aquarium and they're just part of the decor. They're living decor. They're kind of like plants. And they probably require the same amount of like effort as plants. So I can definitely recommend that. I kind of want to get a fish tank now. Like just talking about this, I kind of want to take another stab at raising some fish. Get some uh, get some shadows going down here. How are we doing on time? All right, let's blend some of that in. So the body of this little guy does have some dark areas. So let's take a minute to get all those in. Um, but I think we're almost done with that bit. Little flippy guy. I don't want to get a ferret now. These guys are adorable. So I'm just kind of quickly getting some of these shadows in here. You don't really have to go nuts with them. Again, one of the techniques that I use, which is not anything like groundbreaking or anything, it's something that a lot of artists do. The further you get away from your focal point, the less detail you have to put in. So it's entirely appropriate for me to come in and put in these quick little marks and stuff that represent, shadows. Um, and you can do this like really loosely, and it kind of gives your picture a little bit of style. It makes it look hand drawn. Not that there was ever any confusion. It doesn't look like a photo, but also you should leave in some marks that kind of suggest the artist's hand was here. So I like to do that at the end. Like a lot of artists, they'll come in and quickly sketch in something, and they'll leave those marks as they develop over it and stuff. And that's probably more authentic. It's probably something I should work on and stuff. But I kind of like it this way, where I come in and I put all the essence of the creature in there, and then I kind of come back over it and kind of draw in some of those marks that really represent what should have been there in lower layers, your development layers and stuff. But for me, I just kind of do this because it kind of looks cool. It's like to come in here and put in these like little scribbles and so on. I think it goes to add some style to it and stuff. And come up here and put in like some little scribbles around these ears because they're not very otherwise developed. Let's see, I think. All right. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but I've got a gel pen here. I just kind of want to put some whiskers over this. Again, I feel like this is cheating because I don't really want this to be a mixed media piece. But yeah, okay, I like that. It just kind of put some of these whiskers back in. There are ways to do this without doing a gel pen. Like you can get one of those very fine markers. Sorry, very fine erasers, and do it that way. But also, I don't think it's cheating too hard to use a gel pen at this point. Like, if I really felt like it, I would not feel that bad coming in and adding ink over this to highlight some places. So I don't feel bad adding these little white whiskers in with the gel pen. I'm not the only one who does it, so suck it, purists, basically. But no, purists would have a point. Technically it's mixed media if you go off and add ink to a charcoal picture, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much over that. I think it looks cool. It's really the only way that I have as far as material to get those white whiskers in. And I think that those white whiskers really help it. All right, how are we doing on time? Getting close to it. Warhorse Kabar says ferrets are awesome as long as they've had the musk glands removed. Yeah, I think so. I think if you get them at pet stores, that's usually how they are. Um, they're kind of like psycho kittens that never outgrow the face. That's a perfect way to put it. That's why they're so awesome because they're like kittens and they run around the house. They do all these cute little things, and you're absolutely right. They never grow out of it. Now, I have not personally seen a ferret that lives to like an old age or anything like that, so I don't really know. Like I've had cats that I've had, throughout their lives, so I know what they're like as old cats and young cats and so on. I've never actually seen a ferret live to an old age, so I don't know what that's like. But Um, yeah, I would not be surprised if they act as psycho their entire life. And by psycho, they really do like shiny things. So like you can have I don't know, like some keys or like just some shiny whatever, and they'll chase that stuff around your house and play with it. And they love like I don't know, they're just like kittens, really. They are adorable, and they look super cute. I've also never met one without the musk or sink glands or whatever removed, so I don't know what that's like either. They do look adorable. All right, so there's one final step I do, and this is purely for cosmetics. It's just how I do it. Um, I like to add like little like splotches of like paint. Now, I do this and I end up with like charcoal splotches everywhere. Like I've got some on my monitor here, I've got some on the wall. They're all over the place. So I'm going to try to bring this in a little bit. But what I like to do is just like with the just get some anyway. Um I like to come in here and just kind of like add some splotches to kind of reinforce that look of you know, this like this being watercolor and or ink. And I don't feel like I want to draw all of the feet of this creature. In fact, my reference picture, the one that I pulled off the internet, he's like standing in a pile of pillows and stuff. So I don't even see his feet, so I don't know what they look like. So this is a good way to kind of like abstract that out. It kind of looks like he's dissolving, like Thanos snapped his fingers, and the poor little ferret guy is being sucked off into the netherworld or the soul stone or however that worked. I don't know how that worked in the movie, but he's disappearing. He's fading away, disappearing from existence. So by doing these like little splotches, one, it just looks cool. I think it looks cool. Like I say, it's purely well, it's partially. I can't say it's purely aesthetic. So like it's partially aesthetic choice, and it's partially like just practical, right? So the aesthetic bit is it looks cool. It looks grungy. It looks like he's kind of like messing about in the dirt. And then the other part is that practical part of like, well, you know, where do you stop your picture and how do you dissolve your picture off into, you know, you can just kind of like just leave it there. It kind of looks a little weird. I like to do this. I do this with my coffee paintings. I've taken to doing it with my charcoal pictures as well, and it serves those two purposes. It is a mess. I end up with crap all over the place. And like I said, I've got dots all over the walls and things like that, but that's okay. You do it all for art, right? All right, so I'll put that to the side. Actually, I'll put that in there. Put this guy to the side. Wipe my hands because for some reason I got charcoal all over it. And now I'm looking and seeing if there's any kind of like touch-ups or if I'm actually done. I don't really know yet. Probably not mess about so much. So I'm not too happy with here. Let me add a few little things. The splatters make it look almost like pen and ink. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So like I like it. And you know, I started doing this a little while back on my charcoal pictures. I didn't used to do it just because like I don't know, I kind of had more of a classical use of charcoal that I was doing. But recently I started doing this and I just like the style of it because again, so let me show you what I'm talking about as far as style goes. So like here's a picture that I did just recently of a dog. And as you can see, the style of them are very similar. You can tell they're done by the same artist and the same style. That's what I really like about this way of doing it. It's a consistent style. The pictures end up looking very similar to each other. I like that. So like if I ever did like a gallery showing or something like that, or just you know taking pictures and putting them in a portfolio on the internet or something, many of my pictures are going to look similar, and that's something that's kind of been lacking of my art over the past year. But it's something this year that I would count as something that I've been getting better at, is being more consistent in my style, I guess, or in some of my styles. Like I'm still all over the place in terms of the different styles that I do, but when I do a style, they're pretty consistent between different pictures. if that makes sense. So at this point, I've got this really, like, I sharpened this to a really high point, and I'm just adding, like, little details with the charcoal. Kind of making things, oh man, that's good bourbon, by the way. Sorry. Every now and then I take a big swig and I'm like, oh, that's really good. That's from that James E. Pepper distillery that I was telling you guys about in Lexington. As much as I talk about them, they should sponsor me. I'm gonna go holler at them like, look, you can sell me this bottle, or I'll just talk you guys up on my show. How's that? Because it is good. I easily recommend those guys. It's not terribly expensive either. It's like mid range, like $30 a bottle or something like that. I mean, you can get a lot worse when it comes to bourbon. A lot of people have been asking me recently, like, what's my favorite bourbon, and like if I can recommend a bottle for like X amount of money and stuff. I'm not very good at that. That's I just go for like the bottom shelf and stuff, and I kind of have my go-tos that I've developed over time. But I'm not really good at recommending those things. Hey Lorraine, how's it going? Thank you. I think the splatters make the viewer think about the technique, at least for me. Cool. I think I just love the splatters. Now, an argument could be made that they're not necessary. So, like, if you're going for like, do they distract from the art because they're not necessary, or do they add to the art because they're visually interesting? Are they cliche? Um, Theoretically, you can make a case for all of that, right? You can sit there and say, well, everybody does splatters and stuff. So, Jeremy, yours is kind of cliche or something like that. But I mean, even though that may be true, I don't care. I think it looks cool. I enjoy doing it. Again, it actually serves a purpose by giving me a way to kind of like back out of the picture uh, towards the bottom. So those are all cool things. Anyway, I think this guy's about done, really, honestly. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're at an hour and 45. That's good. I think we should just go ahead and call this guy done. I might tinker with like the values in the face and stuff just to kind of no, I think this guy's actually pretty good. I was a little concerned about it earlier, like did he look a little bit flat, but I'm happy with him. I think he actually looks really realistic. I'm a little proud of this guy. So did we have a name for him? Or did somebody come up with a name? I think somebody mentioned a name somewhere up in the thread, but I kind of lost track. There you go, Tom. That's my recommendation for bourbon. Strong bourbon. Bourbon that makes you regret your life choices. I love bourbon. I like the taste of bourbon versus like regular whiskey and other, like I've got a bottle of rum. I enjoy it, but it's not the same. I prefer bourbon. At least I can sleep well tonight knowing that Larry didn't get eaten by an alligator. Thank you, Larry, for popping in tonight. We were all worried. Like, not so much last week, but if you were going to skip out for another week, yeah, we would have definitely been a little bit concerned. I was going to shoot you an email and check and see how you were doing. All right, guys. Coopar says, shout out Jeremy, great work as usual. Thanks, Coop. I appreciate that. All right, so I am going to leave you guys with some homework in the comments below. Come up with a name for this guy. I got a couple of ideas in my mind, but I always like it when you guys name them because you guys come up with the best names. Like whatever I come up with, it's usually pretty lame compared to what you guys have. And whenever I do one of these pictures, I like to give them a name. I don't know why. It's just something it's just something that I feel like you guys do better than me is naming these guys, and I feel bad when they don't have names. So I appreciate that from you guys. So that's your homework. Think up a name, drop it in the comments. There's no wrong answers. But anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. Need to think of a good bourbon name. There you go. Yeah. Like a good bourbon themed name for the little guy. So he is a ferret, in case you're wondering. Like he looks like a couple of different animals, but he's a ferret. And yeah, a bourbon related name would be awesome. All right, but I'll leave it to you guys. You guys be creative and stuff. I think that's it for me for tonight. I will be back on Thursday with another drawing. I might get back to doing the memorial portrait I was doing for Ben and Ashley. I feel like I've left that on the back burner for a bit, but we'll see. It really depends on like my time and things like that. I have to set up for like a painting. These drawings and stuff, they're a lot easier to set up for. So depending on my schedule on Thursday, I may be doing a painting, I may be doing a drawing, but I actually like these white whiskers here. Those are really cool. But anyway, that's all I got for this evening. Let me come back here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm glad Larry's still alive and didn't get eaten by an alligator. That's awesome. As a general rule, I don't like it when my viewers get eaten by alligators. So whatever you do this week, do not get eaten by an alligator. Any other thing, that's totally fine. But watch out for those alligators. And that's all I got for tonight. I'll see you guys Thursday. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.